Murray, Ryan Thompson, Martha Gregory, and John.
Hello and welcome to the finals of the Premier Ultimate League Championship Weekend 2023 at Carlini Stadium here in Washington, D.C. My name is Asako Yamamoto, and I will be commentating this game together with Judy Jarvis. Judy, welcome to D.C. You must be pumped to
I'm
see good
so
luck here.
pumped. Yes, and we've already been treated to incredible ultimate here on Carlini Field. Yesterday there were two fantastic semifinal matchups. The first was New York Gridlock against Minnesota Strike. They handily beat them 20-13. The second was the home field team, DC Shadow, going up against Raleigh Radiance. It was a close battle throughout the whole game, but Raleigh Radiance was able to pull it out in the end, 18-16, to result in these two teams meeting in the finals. What's been really thrilling about this Premier Ultimate League season is how many top-level teams there are, and the battle to championship weekend has been intense. So the way that it's structured is that there are 4 spots. 3 are given to the winners of the 3 regions. You can see the winners in the graphic here at the top. And then on the bottom, the wild card. So there was a big battle for this wild card spot. Some controversy, some intensity, with both Philadelphia Surge and New York Gridlock seeking it. The PUL wild card selection process ended with Gridlock being chosen over Philadelphia Surge, taking into account head-to-head games, toughness of game schedule, home field advantage, and scoring margins. Gridlock showed yesterday in the semi that they are ready to be here. They're ready to take it all the way, and they've now fought all the way to the finals.
Here's a short look back at yesterday's results. DC Shadow and Raleigh Radiance battled it out in a tight game, with Radiance edging Shadow out. In the other semis, New York fairly dominated, I would say. Minnesota in the other semis showing their strength, disallowing pretty much any real breaks in that game.
And one big person on the Gridlock team to put her all out there was Tulsa Douglas. Just an incredibly clean game, just played really well, leading the offense to have no breaks against them, merely 4 turnovers in the game. Here's Douglas, number 14, on the screen right now in warm-ups. And we can see her stats from that semifinal game. It was 3 goals and 3 assists, and you know that Gridlock is wanting her to perform in that same way in this finals game. And on the Radiant side, just a huge amount of skill across their roster.
Yes. Radiant displayed some flashy athletic plays under huge defensive pressure from DC Shadow. They made some amazing catches, especially younger players like Don Colton and Caitlin Gross, as you see here. It was a very exciting game with turnovers from both sides, lots of breaks from both sides battling it out.
And these teams have not met this season, so it'll be exciting to see, what each squad is going to bring when we get started very soon. They have met 3 times, so this is their 4th meeting. They've met 3 times throughout the existence of the PUL. And the last 2 meetings ended in overtime, and that included in 2019 when Radiance won by 1 point in double overtime in the semis. So now they're back together in the finals. Radiance, as you can see, has won all 3 of the matchups, but you can better believe they're both hungry for this win. Neither has ever been a PUL champ before. Sako, are you ready for this game?
Yes, it's of course, as a DC resident, a little disappointed that Shadow is not here, but super interesting to see these 2 games coming in, both defeating the team that had beat them in the most recent matchup along the way. So that's a really interesting way. They say that it's hard. They say that it's hard to beat a good team twice, and kind of that was the storyline of yesterday, I think, where they both beat the team that beat them.
All right, we'll be back for the start of the game shortly.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Welcome back, everyone. Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports.
This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com. Welcome back to the finals, the start of the finals. Radiance has opted to go on defense to start, so they will be pulling. I imagine if it goes by past experience, Grace Connolly will be pulling for Radiance. And that's what it looks like. They are walking onto the field as we speak.
And this is a good move for Radiance because really what they're trying to do is disrupt the offense of Gridlock. So coming out with their D-line here, we can see Connerly, Rydell, Brzezinski, Colton, Betcher, Neville, and Zwerninski coming out on the line. And when we talked to the coaches before the game of Radiance, they were talking about really wanting to put pressure on Gridlock, limiting their options. They acknowledge that the Gridlock team is very deep. And so I think this move of starting on defense is to try to, from the start, add a little pressure on them.
And here's Gridlock, O-line coming in.
Gridlock just had an incredible performance last game. So we see Douglas, Cartagena, Finley, Joe, Sieber, Barrett, and DeJesus. This is the 7. You're going to see them on every single O point. They are a well-oiled machine together. They like to get their work done as fast as they can in the semifinal game. No O breaks, Asako.
Yes,
I mean, what are you thinking?
It was unbelievable. Very smooth. There were some sticky moments, but they pulled through all the time. A lot of the lofty resets. Tulsa Douglas being tall, able to catch anything, helped a lot. Even in the slightly windy conditions. Today, it's even less windy, although hot. And here is the first pull from Grace Connolly. Brawley. Rushing down, centers it to Douglas. Tulsa calmly assessing her options. Resets to Finley. You can see Radiance fighting to make those resets hard. An inside throw to Gina Cartagena. Wide over to Amy Zhao. Reset. They continue with their smooth playing. Oh, first turnover. It was a little bit too wide for Tulsa. Radiance defensive pressure already working.
That's what Radiance wanted to do, to get a turn and show Gridlock, oh, we're here and we're going to put pressure on your clean O-line.
Grace Connolly centers it. to Hannah Betcher coming in. Justin Neville with the disc on the sideline. New York is also trying to put a lot of pressure on these throws. It's floating a little bit, and Jenny DeJesus secures another turnover. New York gets it back. And they're very good at using the momentum of a turnover to get their offense going. Gina Cartagena throws it into space for Tulsa Douglas. Tulsa Douglas with a sneaky, cheeky little throw into the middle. And swinging it all the way across the field, they secure their point. So there was a turn, but again, no breaks.
Gridlock got it back, and that's what they needed to do, making sure that the O-line is going to score. They looked a little bit slow off the mark here, so we know that it's a hot game. It's hot out there. There's turf that is scorching out there. So this is going to be one of the stories of the game. How can both teams deal with the heat, deal with long points? Let's see some of the key points here. Cartagena throw to Douglas that wasn't completed. DeJesus doesn't need to leave her feet to get the other turnover. Working it back down. Finding the open people despite the poach from Radiance. Joe to Sieber for the first score of the game.
I feel like in the beginning of that point, the O-line throws were a little bit more hesitant, but once the turnover happened and they got it back, they went into their rhythm again. Now we see New York Gridlock. D-line coming in, Becky Malinowski with the pull. And Radiance O-line ready to do their thing. Ashley Powell picks it up. Alex Barnett. Furiously coming in is Claire Revere. The throw just a little bit beyond Biddy Gary Curtis. So now New York gets to try. Neves throws. D-line, Becky Malinowski with the disc, working it down the sideline, patiently resetting to Luisa Neves again. The D-line offense is very patient here. Working it down to Aki Young. Aki Young throws it, but it fades outside.
A good idea there to Abby Chang, who would have loved to eat that up in the end zone. But now Radiance gets a chance for their O team to have another possession. And this is a great matchup. Chang versus 33 is just
a tight window, but Alex Barnett gets it through. You can see New York really pressuring the offense. Biddy Gary Curtis with the disc, resets it, gets it back again, little give-go action. They're very good with these give-go actions. Oh, just as I said it, commentator's curse yet again. New York gets the disc, give-go.
wow.
Oh, look, once too many times. So Rally Radiance gets it back again to the sideline. Erica Birdsong with the disc on the far sideline. There was Alex Barnett, her teammate. Alex releases it long, and it is a score. Claire Revere with the score. So, again, several turnovers, but Radiance got it back.
Yeah, so we're
each with a
seeing
hold.
that both teams are making some errors that they're wanting to clean up. Gridlock had a chance there for a break early on in the point, but we see Birdsong moving the disc along once they've gotten their turn back. A nice huck down to Revere. Barnett to Revere. We're going to be seeing a lot of that one. But I think we're seeing, Asako, that this could be a very even matchup. This is going to come down to who's getting the 50-50 balls, who's converting. What are you thinking now for Radiance's defense? How do they need to disrupt?
I think the Radiance defense is working really hard to make those handler movements hard. And so it really depends. They succeeded in the first as the turf heats up from the sun. And really there's no wind to speak of to cool anything down. So we'll see how the players, are affected by that heat.
Yeah,
Especially
the long
handlers.
points that are easier, for the nighttime game last night, the 7 o'clock game between Radiance and DC Shadow, a lot of long battle points. But when you have the coolness of the night air, it starts to look a little bit different.
Yes. Julia Zazinski with the pull coming in. A long shot to Jenny De Jesus, who was miraculously open, just steps from the end zone, and it's a score.
Gorgeous. I don't know why you would leave De Jesus alone. There must have been a miscue back there. But she was able to get space for Cartagena's Huck and Sieber, her New York Exists teammate. They're together on the field right there. Sieber knew, I better bust it because Jenny wants to throw this in right now. And she does.
That was a gorgeous throw from Cartagena to a miraculously open. But she is always open, but that was extremely open.
See it again. So there's some float. De Jesus is able to move around, and a beautiful leading backhand to Sieber streaking down the field.
That's about as clean a hold as you can ask for, which again helps in this heat to have those
three
clean holds.
passes. That's the kind of score that both teams are seeking.
Now O-line gets to go off, get some water, get a rest. So that's a very helpful.
But
Now
I think
Radiance
where
seeking to the same.
Radiance has an advantage related to the heat is they have a lot of people who can step up in a given game. So in the last game, we saw Claire Bidigary had 3 goals and an assist. Alex Barnett had 2 goals and an assist. Dawn Colton had 2 goals and an assist. Power had 2 assists. They have a lot of people who are able to do a lot of things, and that might help them in these conditions.
Yes. Ashley Powell centering it. Now Erica Birdsong with the disc, looking for a quick up line, and she shoots it to a very open Caitlin Gross.
All right, we're seeing it now on the Radiant side too.
Yes.
These deep cutters not being marked in effective ways, and so especially when you're trying to be efficient, we're seeing both teams are looking to the deep space, and I'm sure their defense is now going to adjust accordingly.
Yes. Interesting how the first 2 points were very different from the second 2 points. The first 2 points were very much inside, 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 and now the throwers are like, oh, my people are open. Let me shoot this.
Indeed, and let's see that again. All right, we have the sideline shot coming down, just curving over. Great placement. Let's see it again. Birdsong going up the line, number 8. Puts it up.
Georgia Say.
Georgia Say to Caitlin Gross for the score.
That's a nicely shaped throw. Grace Connolly with the pull. Oh, the pull goes a little bit past where Ashley Powell was waiting for. But centered now to Jenny De Jesus.
We're seeing a little bit of junk
Nina
here.
Finley.
Now they seem to be tightening up into person.
A little bit of a dominator set where the stack is a little bit further away. Dawn Colton furiously D'ing, but not quite getting her hand on that. Jenny Rydell with the disc on the sideline. Oh,
Looks like we might have an injury call here. Barrett and Justine Neville got tangled up a little bit there. But it
hope
does
she's
look like
okay.
that's a turnover.
Looks like she might have hit her chin.
Oh, yes. Barrett landed on her a little bit. Finding out if there's... Okay, it looks like a substitution. Doesn't look like there's a call here.
So that will be a turnover. With Radiant's first chance this point for a break. Grace Connolly with the disc. Josetsky comes in. Hannah Betcher. Oh, nice catch by Grace Connolly. Now again, the in-cuts seem to be, the unders seem to be a little bit more open than before. Quick up line to Grace Connolly. Dawn Colton towing the line. She's an expert at that, towing the line. Jenny Riedel.
And that's a break for Radiance. That's huge. It looked like Gridlock trying to do a few switches that weren't working. Radiance was able to find the holes there. What were you seeing in that point?
That was I think that the Radiant's undercuts were very effective in that particular point. Perhaps because of the past 2 points, New York was guarding the deeper shots a little bit more aggressively. And this amazing catch by Dawn Colton, of course, helps maintain
Critical.
position.
Gets up and gives the hockey assist. And then they're in the end zone.
So that's our first break, which never happened yesterday. So
That's right. So this is the first break of the weekend on Gridlock.
I'm sure they came mentally prepared for that to happen. So let's see how they rebuild from here and get that break back.
Absolutely. And the Gridlock O-line looks like they're back out there. They're hungry for more. And so it's interesting to see the Gridlock coaches really play a very tight O-line. It's really just these 7 over and over and over. And that does a lot for the chemistry. And that also does a lot for the team's trust in these 7 to get it back. So they are ready to go to work right now.
Finley centers it to Tulsa. Oh, tough. Bit of a collision. Justine Neville very eager for that block, but maybe a little overeager. Gina Cartagena very, very cautious with the reset, making sure that her target is there. Oh, another tough catch under tough pressure. Fire, fire. I hear fire, fire. They're going, oh,
What
and
a
that's
grab.
a steal from Julia Zwozinski. Now she goes back for the disc on the far sideline, and it's a deep shot. And it's going to, oh.
What a fantastic effort. Oh, my goodness.
That was-
Raleigh is fired up.
Heather Zimmerman almost got her hand on it. Couldn't quite get there.
Let's see that again. Zimmerman working it, has so much space from her defender, just a little bit too far. But they're sending a message to Gridlock with this defensive intensity. We did not see this type of defensive intensity from Minnesota Strike against Gridlock yesterday.
No.
So Gridlock's got to readjust if they want to stay in this game.
Oh, it looks like it slipped out of her hand after that big fake. Now Raleigh Radiance with another chance at a break. Bella Russell with a disc. Working it quickly. The D-line now very patient with the disc. Bella Russell working it all the way to this sideline. Alice swung over, give go. Back, she has several options there. Zimmerman with the disc on the far side. Looks, doesn't get it, so she resets. Textbook offense here.
Seeing some poachy defense from Gridlock, but Radiance is able to find those holes.
Now knocking on the door here. Patiently resets it. Zimmerman looking for her shot. Doesn't find it. Resets again. The give go after the reset has been very effective for Radiance. A cheeky inside. Over. New York tightly guarding their choices.
Wow, that was some serious team D by
Yes.
Gridlock to hold them for so long just on the lip of the end zone. And with the effort of Nina Finley, they got it back. Tulsa rips it.
It's a little bit too far.
But I don't mind that throw and play
I
D
think there
decision.
was a timeout called.
Timeout call.
I think it might have been before Tulsa's throw, in which case the turnover is null. In PUL, yes, it's confirmed that it's still in Tulsa Douglas's hand because in the PUL, the timeouts can be called by the player or the sideline coach or designated person on the sideline. This case, it looks like it was the coach that called the timeout. So before she threw that, which means that she gets the throw back.
And Gridlock has really got to readjust here. So they were able to hold back Radiance. You know, there was one error that Radiance made, an overthrow. There was a miscue. Let's see, Finley throwing it and getting an incredible interception from Julia Zwornicki, but not able to get it in despite a lot of passes by Radiance.
Nina Finley with a valiant diving D there to prevent the score.
I am loving Raleigh's grittiness right now. I love how hard they're playing defense, and they're here to play from the first quarter. They're not messing around. Gridlock looks like, they were, despite the coaches saying, we're not going to rest on our laurels, we're not going to be complacent because we were so clean yesterday, seeing a little bit of that complacency from the O-line. A couple mistakes, sure, but needing to get back on their horse and have the intensity when they make the turn. So no doubt those were some of the themes in the huddle there. Cartagena has a disc to try to work at the whole field.
Yes, they need to work the entire field. Amy Zhao coming in with an in cut. Centering it patiently over to the far line. Jenny De Jesus.
And
Luisa
Gridlock made
Neves.
a few substitutions here. You see
does look
Neves
like-
in.
Oh,
Great effort from Emily Baird, who is frustrated that that disc wasn't in her hands after some great movement from her teammates. So it looks like the Gridlock squad out there right now is about half D, half O-line. So close, but the disc falling too fast for Barrett to get it.
now Radiance gets to work the entire length of the field to try to get its break. In cuts coming in. Don Colton coming out, but patiently resetting.
Cartagena effective mark here.
Jenny Rydell is not finding anybody to throw to. I think the timeout was called.
Looks like a timeout to try to save that possession. It was going to pretty close to 10 there.
Yes.
So Gridlock is pumping up the defensive intensity now.
I think they know that allowing another break here could be very difficult, make their way to very difficult down the line.
Absolutely.
So that was a strategic timeout call on the part of both coaches in the same point, really. Let's see what adjustments New York will make in their defense. Yesterday they were very good about varying their defenses, so I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with something to change it up a little bit. But their defensive
Absolutely.
pressure right there in that point was very good.
Yes, I think mixing up the lines a little bit is smart, especially for these really long points where now the coaches can see Radiance is not going to allow many of those three pass O possessions, and so they need to be ready if there's a turn to not just stay in person, to use their effective junk D. So I'm sure the gears are turning in the Gridlock coaches' heads.
Looks like there were some substitutions that happened on the field.
Gridlock is a fully D line right now.
O-line, D-line coming in for both teams. Aki Young, Alex Burnett battles it for the disc to Ashley Powell. This is a more traditional O-line, D-line matchup right here. And she shoots it.
Wow,
and she gets
what
it
a grab.
again. Biddy Gary Curtis catches her own Mac. Oh, there's a call on the throw.
What a great grab after the bobble, even with two defenders on her. Very impressive.
The reset, give go again happens. Alex Barnett. Tighter defense. Still the reset successfully happening on the Radiant side. Elika Birdsong coming in. Oh, cheeky little around. Alex Burnett very active on the field there. Pick call.
Some smart switches from the Gridlock D. And again, they're making Raleigh throw quite a lot of passes here. Oh, but that's the one they needed.
Successfully to Gina Titcomb.
And that's how Raleigh likes to end the first quarter.
Raleigh Radiance goal scored by number 90.
Gina Titcomb with the score after a lot of patient small passes here in the red zone. Barnett looking, and a little pop to Titcomb, who waves it in the air, saying, we're here to play.
That was an important point. Dramatic way to end the first quarter.
Oh, I am loving this battle. I love a good D slugfest, you know? Both teams, Radiance came ready with the dial up on defense. Gridlock is slowly trying to match them. We're going to take a break and be right back with the second quarter.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
July from Nottingham, England, the World Flying Disc Federation's World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. Live all-access coverage, including semis and finals, exclusively at ultiworld.com.
Welcome back. A Spin Ultimate. This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com. Welcome back to the second quarter after a very hot, literally hot, but also play hot first quarter with lots of great Ds from both sides. What are you thinking, Judy?
I'm very impressed with how Radiance's defensive intensity was. In their semifinal against DC Shadow, it was really their athletic offense that was taking the game. You know, they were catching all these nuts grabs in the air, on the ground. And in this game, they haven't had to do that because they're playing some disciplined offense. But the biggest thing is they're getting the turns on Gridlock that in Gridlock's semifinal, no one could get on them. So they're putting the fear in Gridlock's heart in that first quarter, but then Gridlock in the end of the first quarter really started to show, oh no, we have the defensive stuff too. If you're a coach of Gridlock, Asaka, what are some of the things you're talking to your team about right now?
I think I would be saying, hey, we expected this to be a tough game. Radiance is a very physical, super athletic team. There's no reason why we should change our composure. We play our game and we win, and we now have to match our defensive intensity to their defensive intensity.
Absolutely, and if I were on the Radiant side, I would be saying to the team, keep doing it.
Yep.
Keep putting them back on their heels. So that kind of defense that makes the Gridlock smooth as butter O-line get a little disrupted, you know, get in their heads a little bit is what they're trying to do right now. And just talking to the coaches of Radiance earlier, they talked a lot about trust. Actually, both teams talked a lot about trust. The coaches of, you know, we have built systems. We need to trust that we're going to be able to make them happen. And you can really see Raleigh sticking to it. Let's take a look at some of the stats thus far. So we are seeing a good number of turnovers. So 14 total turnovers in the game thus far in the quarter. Only 2 breaks, but 6 break chances that Raleigh has had. What are you seeing in the numbers here, Asako?
I think the total number of turnovers being a little bit bigger on New York's side is basically causing it. New York showing that it can get it back by giving more break chances, but not allowing only 2 breaks. So I think it's something that the coaches need to be aware of, and I'm sure they are, and make adjustments from there. The butter smooth offense from yesterday is, you know, seeing some challenges. So
there's a fly in the butter. How can we work with this metaphor?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, we have Elizabeth Mosquera on the field with the disc right here. This is what the fans have been waiting for. Mosquera is just an incredibly talented player who's had some knee issues. She's back.
She's back on the field. Stasi running down hard. Looks like they are putting a person in the lane to disrupt. It's like a zone with Mosquera in the back. Raleigh Radiance very good with their patient offense. Georgia with the disc, looking for an inside throw, and she finds her target. Oh, now June's come very, very close to the end zone line. Patiently resetting. Not finding a target, so she puts it up in the air. That goes deep.
Wow. Gridlock's defense worked here, so changing things up.
5 yards from the end zone.
Putting a lot of pressure on the disc, so we've now seen a few different points where Gridlock has gotten Radiance really close to a stall. In that case, forcing a throw that was out the back of the end zone. Angela Zhu coming up with the disc.
Now, Gridlock gets their try at a break. Throw goes up a little too high and gets eaten up by Radiance. Gina Tickham with the D there. Very patient with their offense. Claire Revere going. Alex Barnett running down the field. Stasi cannot keep up with her. Alex Barnett.
Great upline catch by Alex Barnett.
She ran pretty much half of the entire field from a handler position to get that score.
And the Gridlock D had a taste of, all right, we can do this, but Raleigh able to pick up a misfire from Gridlock, get the disc back, and Barnett, let's see it again. Titcomb, this is the first turn from Raleigh. I had to just put it up.
That must have been on stall 9 or something.
Out of bounds, but they ate it back up, bring it down to their end zone, and number 8, Georgia Say, in the end zone to Barnett.
Titcomb got it right back by getting a D.
But this is where, if you're Gridlock, you're saying to yourself, we're getting the chances. We have the disc in our hands. We're getting the turnovers. We need to finish it. And in the other semifinal, Gridlock versus Minnesota, their D-line offense was incredible. I mean, just they've worked hard to get the turn and then able to have that smooth, calm offense. So Gridlock just needs to recenter that DO to get back to that spot and that talent they know they have in defensive O.
So Gridlock O-line gets to try again. Get to Amy Zhao. Jenny Disses is coming in. Oh, Amy's throw. I think there was a miscommunication. I think it was to Tulsa, but it flew a little bit past her. And Gina was not able to secure it. Grace Connolly picks up the disc. Resets it to the center. Emily Shakuski. Back to Grace Connolly. A quick insight to Dawn Colton, her teammate from UNC. Back. Again, we see the reset almost always does a give-go right after they reset. A quick inside. Perhaps there was a call. Off the disc foul call. Teresa Yu has to give the disc back.
And Gridlock is forcing Radiance to make a lot of passes, but Radiance does not look tired, and
No.
they do not look like they have a problem with doing a lot of passes here.
They'll say, we'll reset it all
On
the way
the
across
offense.
the field
So
if we
this
need
can
to.
go. Was there also a pick? It was just an offensive foul, so it can be 7. Right.
I said 6.
So coming in saying
Looks
stalling
like the
7.
stall is
Let me
coming in
fix the
at
clock
7.
here. We got that wrong.
Fairly
We're gonna
high
move
for
the
a
clock to
stall to
9:05,
start.
please.
And we can hear the observers mic'd up, which is always interesting to hear,
Yes.
what's going on down there.
There's a quick reset. Teresa Yu with the disc. Oh, tight defense, but Dawn Colton able to secure it. Oh, but the throw goes over.
Great
intended
heads-up
target.
D by Amy Jo.
Again, the thrower that missed through before. Oh, good concentration by
goodness.
Tulsa Douglas. Still gets it. A low throw. I think Grace Connolly might have gotten a piece of that one. Big throw to Dawn Colton. The jump into the end zone, not quite there yet. Hannah Betcher didn't get the disc, but Dawn Colton is looking for a reset, and the lefty throw doesn't quite make it.
Oh my goodness, this is quite a ping pong of a point where each team is playing some really smart heads-up D.
Yes.
And then making some, let's say, not choice offensive decisions.
Jenny
rushing a
Riedel
little
was
bit.
twisting around to try to find the disc, but couldn't quite find it. An inside throw to Amy. Amy releases it, challenging Dawn Colton. Dawn says, not today.
Great positioning by Dawn Colton there on Sieber.
So now Radiance gets another shot at the offense. Over to Teresa Yu, another teammate from UNC. Dawn Colton releases it, but perhaps the angle not so great. It doesn't reach the intended target.
Now I think we're seeing fatigue from both teams.
Yes.
So for a while it felt like Gridlock was showing their, the heat a little more than Radiance, but this point is knock down, drag out.
No. And what happens when players get tired is another turnover. I think they try to end the point quickly. So there's a 10 trend towards throwing long to try to end the point quickly. Grace Connolly calls a timeout.
Very smart move here. Both teams really need to recalibrate. So we're seeing, both teams in their semifinal game able to complete some just bananas throws, but here a lot of them are not coming through. We're going to see a little bit of that.
Some of the turnovers from this point, long point.
All right, so first we see Colton's lefty receiver, number 9.
Jenny
Rydell just could not quite see it. Then a boost to Siebert. That had a big D from Dawn Colton. Colton with the disc again, boosting past the receivers.
The 2 receivers were open. It was a good look. Just not the throw intended, perhaps.
Amy Jo looking for an upline to Douglas. So we're seeing, these just are incredible athletes, so if they're making errors like this, that the conditions are intense. It might be the mental game is intense. And so it really is a battle for who can pick themselves back up faster.
Here we see the Radiance O-line has come back in.
And we're seeing the temperature 79 degrees. It feels a lot hotter than that because of the turf.
Big shot to Revere, and that's a score.
Revere is in after the timeout call. That is another break for Raleigh Radiance.
Big shot from Gina Titcomb.
These are both Seattle-bred players making a great play together, making sure that post timeout is short. Let's see.
Nice little
Titcomb
inside from Ashley.
Launches it, and look how much space Revere has. Abby Cheng makes a good effort on the disc, but it is Radiance's score. And Radiance has a lot of reason to be smiling right now.
Beautiful throw ahead of her that Abby Cheng couldn't quite get to.
And so now Gridlock has got to get on their horse. When you're 3 breaks down in the second quarter, the game is certainly not over.
No.
I mean, in pro ultimate, scores can happen in 20 seconds, 40 seconds, right? So, but it's about the mentality.
Yes.
Can they get their heads back in the game? And they looks like they have mostly a D line on right now, Gridlock's offense, to try to deal with some of these really long points.
The PUL is out of bounds, so it'll be centered.
And my mistake. It looks like there's
Also Douglas.
They've put the lines together, so we see some of the standard O players along with some D stalwarts on Gridlock here.
Yes. Like Billy Malinowski there. Oh! The throw doesn't quite connect. Tammy Zhao. Early turnover. Jenny Dahl with the disc, looking for reset. Secure, a little high, but secures it. There's over to Bella. Oh, Tulsa Douglas knew where it was going, but couldn't quite get there. But it's a turn. New York back with the disc. Tulsa directing traffic of the stack. Neela Finley's there for the reset. Becky Malinowski with a big gainer. Finds Zoe Hecht on the sideline. Tulsa Douglas going in and scores.
Tulsa in the end zone. New York got it back to get the score.
She gets the work done. Again, similar to how Alex Barnett ran all the way down half field, Tulsa also ran at least a quarter of the field there to make the score.
And that's an important mental moment for Douglas. So she had a turnover there in that point, so we're seeing it again, kind of just into a group of folks not quite at its target, and Tulsa did not give up. So once Amy Jo was able to get the interception, moved it down the field, Malinowski to Hecht, and Tulsa got to work. And that's the type of player that Tulsa is. You're going to make mistakes, right? How do you recover? How do you come back? And so to have a fired up Tulsa Douglas is going to be very useful to this team.
Yes, and it was a beautiful throw from Zoe Hecht down the line.
Tulsa has been an important leader on Gridlock since its inception in 2019. So a lot of players take their cues from how she's doing. Something I noticed in the semifinals, I mean, the throws that were completed by Gridlock were just absolutely gorgeous. Just these arcing, slicing throws, many of them from Tulsa Douglas. That same exact recipe isn't working in that game, and that's okay. And so as a player, as a leadership, you need to figure out how to readjust.
In the meantime, I think there was a timeout on the field. Heat timeout. Oh, never mind. It's a heat timeout. It's getting that hot down on the turf.
Yes, we got the fans in Carlini Stadium. Some of them are in the chairs, some of them are on grass. Sam Harris has got their fan club out there, of course. And so in these huddles, so the timeout is for the Heat, but it's also a good strategic time for the coaches. What do you think the message is for the Gridlock squad, Asako?
I think the Gridlock squad is now talking about their mental resilience and ability to come back. They're probably talking about trust each other. It's still the second quarter. Plenty of time to come back. But we need to get booking on the defense to try to get those Ds. Becky Malinowski with the pull. Looks like Radiance.
We're seeing the
Similar
jump defense from Gridlock that's been successful for them in past
Yes,
games.
changing things up. Radiance. Oh, she's got a touch on it. Oh, and Zoe Hecht is able to steal the disc away.
What a great double D.
Luisa Neves with the disc over to Zoe Hecht. Neves goes back. Finding the open people. Speaking of Sam Harris, Becky with the disc. Now getting very close. Renata Pepe with the disc. Able to secure it right in the corner, 5 yards from the end zone. And that's a break for New York.
That is huge.
Tracy Lum able to
fired up after that upline cut score. And this is beautiful. This is when the D-line is saying to their O-line, we got your back. Tracy Lum's assist to Kowalski was crucial. Let's see it again.
Maintaining composure in that corner there. Great steal by Zoe Hecht.
And then we see Pepe get it to Lum. Lum waiting for her teammate to fire down the line. Even with a Radiance player in the end zone, Kowalski was ready for that.
You can see them fired up.
And this is what we say, you know, it ain't over till it's over, right? So if
That's
you
right.
can get this Gridlock D-line fired up, take another break here, this becomes a very different game.
Yes.
So
It's already a 2-point game. Very close. So if they
I'm
can
ready for Mascara to cause some chaos.
She's there, one of the best pullers in the game. And it goes all
disc
the
fly.
way to the end zone. It's a pleasure to watch her pull. Meanwhile, Radiance not losing composure, although that throw goes errant. Mascara to Angela Zhu. Stasi with the disc looking for Angela, not finding her. Finding Anna Weissen. But a D from Erica Birdsong.
That's a great matchup. Birdsong and Mascara, two just incredible receivers.
So now Radiance on the sideline. High throw, unfortunately pops up a little bit beyond the target hand. Angela Zhu with the disc. But this one floating a little bit. Oh, but secured.
I was holding my breath for the whole arc of that.
Yes.
Disc to Nola Kim Meyer coming down. Second break in a row for Gridlock.
Oh my goodness, with Bidigary Curtis right there. Very tall player defending her. That did not deter Nola Kim Meyer. That's such a good catch.
The D-line comes to play. Let's see that, the key points of that point again.
There's
Here's
the
the
throw.
An overthrow, Zhu picks it up.
It was a little bit floaty, but under pressure from two players.
Great positioning from Radiance. So they had the sandwich set up, right? That's how we coach it.
Yep.
But Kim Meyer was just able to leap at the right time, and she wanted it. You know,
She really wanted it.
When you're in this moment of survival in the finals game, and you know there's nothing left to leave on the field, there's nothing to save for her. She locked her eyes on the disc and brought that down. Let's see what this D-line is going to do.
Becky Malinowski with the pull. You can feel the energy from the field. Alex Barnett maintaining composure. Over to Grace Connolly, Dawn Colton. It's a give go, trying to break open the zone with some give goes. Alex Barnett, a little bobble, but no problem. She has it in her hand. Reset give go still continuing. Claire Revere over to Erica Birdsong on the far side now, using the whole width of the field. Coming in to Gina Titcomb, but that goes long. Oh, but Becky Malinowski can't quite do that throw. Over to Dawn Colton. Ooh, they made a lucky escape there, it looked like.
Yes, despite the very good efforts of the Gridlock defense, Colton is able to get that score. Gridlock really pushed back Radiance throughout that point, didn't let them advance very far, and then suddenly they're able to open the field even despite Malinowski's attempt. Here it comes again, high in the air. Malinowski saw it, couldn't get it quite, and Radiance able to finish it for a hold.
This is a very good game. Good intensity from both sides.
Dawn Colton has been having a great game. Number 11 right here, just something good is happening. She's probably involved in it as a thrower, as a defender, as a receiver. A very dangerous player right here.
Yes, she does it all. And we have about a minute and a half left in the second quarter. 7-5 and 6-6, very different. So let's see what happens in the short time remaining of the second quarter. New York O-line is back. Feels like it's been a while since we've seen them.
Yes, and now Radiance is putting on a zone here.
True. There's only about a minute left in the second. As we've talked about all weekend in the PUL, for the first 3 quarters, the team that has possession when the clock runs out gets to keep possession.
Right, and this is different than Club Ultimate, And so there's also different strategy that goes with this. So, a team might want to throw a lot of passes to make sure they get to the 0-0 and not give the other team a chance to score. At other times, it makes sense to push the pace, try to get as many points as you possibly can, even though there's a risk that the other team could score.
Gina gets it. Oh, very cautious. She knows that possession is very important. 22 seconds remaining. And they push it in.
In that case, Gridlock is willing to leave some time on the board because they want those points. So we have the Gridlock O-line getting back into it. They have just been so excellent that even when their dial is turned down a little, it feels different. And so they're now working on turn it back up. DeJesus is going to be a big part of a turnaround if they can make it happen, getting the score there. Let's see it again.
This was a very patient offense with Gina cutting through the middle of that zone, getting over to Emily Barrett with a bursting in Jenny DeJesus, as usual, finding that front cone. She's so good at that.
So talented. And just the O-line building back their confidence and remembering, we're really good at this. We have really good chemistry. And it might not be a thread the needle type of game. It might be we're going to do a lot of passes and make sure it's really open like that Barrett to DeJesus pass.
So you know that New York here is, we have 20 seconds to get the turnover. So they're going to be rushing down, I imagine. Stassi rushing down. Radiance, on the other hand, keeping their composure as usual. Choosing their throws. Alex Barnett cutting straight across to provide an outlet. Claire Revere coming in. Big shot to Gina Titcomb, and it's going to work.
What a great play. They didn't need to do a buzzer beater, but they thought they might just do one anyway.
That was a big shot by Claire Revere to Gina Titcomb.
This rally takes the half, 8-6. But this is a battle. Gridlock showing that they're still ready to hang. Their D-line has got a lot to offer. Let's see some highlights of Gina Titcomb.
A new player to this team. Like you said, a Seattle product. Whole family involved in Ultimate.
And Gina's dangerous on all sides of the disc, so can really huck with the best of them.
So they had that earlier huck, and then now the reverse.
And here she goes. So figuring out how to guard her is complex. What do you want to give her? Which position do you want to push is difficult because she's going to make you work. She's going to punish any small mistakes. So we're in halftime now, and both teams recalibrating if you're Gridlock, figuring out how to even increase the pressure if you're Radiance, but both teams need to probably cool down as I go.
Correct. The heat. The heat is starting to affect both teams, I think. But it looked like after the heat break, they recovered a little bit and cooled their heads and went back to their cool offense. There was that moment a little bit when I felt like the offense was getting a little bit more rushed, more errors than we've seen.
And we saw right at the beginning there was some very clean offense, and we wondered, is that going to be what we're going to see here? A lot of clean holds, but nope. This is the defense's game. This is who is going to battle for that possession and able to move it down the field, because neither team's defensive squad is letting up right now. And so this is,
in fact, intensifying.
Exactly. And that's what we want in the finals. So the Premier Ultimate League finals, we don't want a calm, final. We don't want a final that we expect. Many people didn't even think these would be the two teams in the finals. The seeds were DC Shadow and Minnesota Strike were the top teams, and they're neither in here. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to do some on-field interviews when we come back.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
July from Nottingham, England. The World Flying Disc Federation's World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. Live all-access coverage, including semis and finals, exclusively at ultiworld.com.
Hi, welcome back. We have some sideline interviews with the coaches. First up is Liz Leon from Rally Radiance. Interviewing is Laura Osterland.
All right, I'm joined here with Radiance coach Liz Leon. It's been a pretty tight half so far. Coming up ahead, what do you think's been working for you?
I think, what worked for us yesterday is working for us again today. We have a lot of trust in each other, and we're really focused on making sure that we're capitalizing on that trust. We're allowing it to bring energy from our sideline onto the field. And then I think it's, making sure that we're not letting that get comfortable.
So what did you take away from last game into this game, and what have you been telling your players?
We've been, saying that ultimately what worked for us yesterday was the energy we brought and the work that they've put in, knowing that we can have a lot of confidence in the systems that we have built throughout the season. But the biggest thing was yesterday was a really fun game and a very high energy game, and I think we thrive in that environment, and so it was really important to us coming in today to make sure we were kind of riding that same train and replicating that same vibe.
And what adjustments are you going to make going into the second half?
I think we could be taking care of the disc a little bit better. I think we're getting a little frantic at times, especially in the red zone, and that's translating into us crowding the person with the disc a lot. So I think being a little bit more efficient in when we're moving the disc and making sure that, cool, calm, collected.
All right, there you have it. Back to you in the booth.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a look at some of the key game stats thus far in the first half. All right, we can see the score here going into the half. 8-6. Raleigh is up on New York. Each team has had 4 holds, so they're even there. But the turnovers, Gridlock has still got a bit more. But look at that break chances row down there. Raleigh has had 14 break chances, so Gridlock, no doubt, is working on reducing that number for the second half. What's standing out to you here, Asako?
Well, I think this means that despite the score, New York is actually doing very well, considering how many break chances they've given and how many break chances they've gotten. So they should be heartened by the fact that we have our chances. They've had more chances but haven't performed as much comparatively. So if we can clean up, if we can clean up our offense, reduce those numbers, then there's a pathway to victory.
All right, Judy Jarvis and Asako Yamamoto in the booth. We'll take a break and be back with you in the second half.
Raleigh Radiance in darks here. These black and red jerseys. Kits are looking fly.
Notice they have new jerseys, new logos, even a new coaching staff.
Big layout block from Don Colton.
Kayla Gross with a great grab.
Hannah Betcher, forehand looking downfield. Riedel camped under it, and she is there for the grab.
Raleigh Radiance just bowling out there right now. Kaylin Gersel unleashed the backhand hook, and it's a beautiful one. Claire Veer underneath makes the sky and grab.
Welcome back to the broadcast. I think we have another sideline interview by Laura this time with the gridlock coach, Eileen Murray.
All right, I'm here joined with gridlock coach Eileen Murray. Eileen, what's different between this game and the last game?
Our offensive efficiency. We've gotten broken 3 times, and 1 time at the end of quarter when they were going to be on offense, so that's like a double break. So we just need to clean up our offense. We were able to recover 2 of those breaks during the second quarter, so now it's up for the D to make up, and so we're going to really work hard in the second half to make up those breaks.
What are you telling your team going into the second half?
Deep breaths. This is, like just live in the moment. We're goldfish. We don't remember things past 10 seconds, and it's a new game. We'll make some adjustments on defense to hopefully get a couple of more breaks, and then the offense just starting to play like we know they can play.
So what do you think has been going well for your team this first half?
I think when we are connecting, it's really good. I don't think their zone is slowing us down. I think the errors that we're making are our errors and not because of their defense. And so I think, we can do it. We just need to be a little bit cleaner. And our defense is really psyched and hyped, and they've been making some really great plays, making their offense work hard. So we just need to make it work harder.
And how are you going to make them work harder?
Switching up the defense, keeping people. We really like to change our defense a lot so that their offense doesn't get comfortable. And I think we're going to try to do a couple more sneaky looks to help take away their deep game.
All right, and that's the lowdown. Again, I've got Eileen Murray here. Back to you in the booth.
Okay. And now we will take a short break and come back for the second half.
July from Nottingham, England, the World Flying Disc Federation's World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. Live all-access coverage, including semis and finals, exclusively at ultiworld.com.
The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports.
This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com. Okay, now welcome back to the second half of this exciting final game of the PUL Championship. Radiance on defense with the PUL. Gridlock O-line, back on the field. A round throw to Emily Barrett, centering it to Amy Zhao. Reset, Tulsa Douglas. Reset back over to Nina Finley. And Jenny DeJesus open, but not quite getting it. Gina Cartagena with the disc. And a nice around backhand
And
to
the
Jenny
Gridlock
DeJesus.
O-line are back again. That feels like us. I think they might be saying to each other. Cartagena finding DeJesus in the end zone. How many times have those words been spoken on PUL broadcasts this year? That is just what Coach Murray was talking about, getting the confidence back of the O-line. Let's see it again. Joe, Cartagena, thinks about hitting Barrett, but it patiently waits for DeJesus to do one of her big fakes for the break and the score.
She is so disciplined about giving that big, good fake, and she has all the throws, so the marker has no choice but to respect it. And then she will just throw the opposite throw. It's
And
something.
let's see if Radiance can answer back with that kind of very clean few pass O.
And we know that the New York D-line is very, very pumped for some Ds now. So let's see if they can make it happen.
And we see Cartagena on the screen here, and it's just worth saying that she only joined this team this year, and the amount of chemistry that she has with this O squad. Many of the people on the O squad played together for many years on Gridlock. For Cartagena to come in and just be able to have that kind of just incredible connection with players like DeJesus, Barrett, Douglas is a real testament to her skill.
As if she's been playing with them for years. Okay, now Radiant's O-line coming in. Alex Burnett, as usual, to Ashley Powell. Oh, but the inside throw is a little bit too far and is deflected by Malinowski. Now Aki Young with the disc. Being very cautious. They know this is an important moment. Luisa Neves works for the reset to Becky Malinowski. Sam Harris makes a cut. Luisa Neves with the upline.
Oh,
and Sam
my.
Harris gets the disc.
Sam Harris is fired up, and the D-line coming in to save the day and tie up the game. It all started with Malinowski's really great heads-up D there. And D-line's coming to be heroes here, Asako. How are you feeling about this gridlock D-line?
This is a tied game now. Tied game. Making up 4 points in this kind of game is not easy.
Here's that run through D from Malinowski. Patience, a lot of upline throws, and Neves put some pace on it for Harris. There were 2 other players coming to the front of the end zone. I felt very nervous for a second there. But Neves had the vision, saw Harris going to the back of the end zone, and Neves knew if she could just give a little power, they would be able to reel it in. But
with Bigaderi Curtis there, I mean, that was not an easy choice either.
Just seeing a real sense of confidence and intensity from the gridlock D-line right now. They know this is our job. We got to do this. If there's a chance, it's us.
And Mosquera with another huge pull that takes about 5 minutes to get there. And it lands inbounds. Centering it to Ashley Powell. With Bigaderi Curtis going long, but coming back. Oh! There is a foul call. Uncontested foul call. Stassi playing good D. Maybe there was a little bit of contact. Oof. Securing the catch. Don Colton on the far side. Resetting it into the middle. So disciplined. To a very open Erica Birdsong. All the way across. Quick inside. Oh, there's a foul call.
The right throw, but not to the target, but like you said.
Might have been affected by the foul.
Yes. Despite some tight defense by Gridlock, Raleigh is seeming to have no problem getting it to their receivers this point.
It looks like Gridlock is very cautious about the long shots and maybe, again, allowing a little bit of the inside unders to come in. Titcomb with the reset. Give go doesn't happen. But no matter, because Caitlin Gross is there. Works all the way across to the next other sideline again, centering it. Oh, beautiful catch.
That was in. That was
ruled in.
Great toe work. I think that was, one big toe in for the score for Radiance. Slicing and dicing through the Gridlock defense, Asako.
Very patient offense.
See that again. So Powell thinks about the upline, but centers it a little bit more to Barnett, who has a great opening for Caitlin Gross there.
Caitlin Gross playing an awesome game today and yesterday as well. Making some really good catches, very smart catches also like that, taking advantage of that one last step to jump into the end zone.
So we've seen a couple of very sleek O points from both teams in this second half. So wondering if that pattern is going to hold or, where we're going to see this go. We're just seeing a lot of variety of what's happening on the field, which means that both teams need to be prepared with a lot of different tools. And tools is the vocabulary that the Radiance coaches were using a lot when we talked to them before the game, that they want to use different tools. Coach Murray from Gridlock just talked about we want to use different Ds. So I think we're seeing a pretty high IQ ultimate game here.
Yes, it feels a little bit like we're seeing little snatches of different games almost. The rhythm of the game has been changing.
Totally.
And now we have gridlock offense against a zone. Tulsa Douglas directing traffic, directing her resets into the spots where she thinks that can bring them advantage. Gina Cartagena, very adept at these small ball type of situations. Her Colombian team, Revo, is so good at the small ball. Oh, tight corner there, but they sneak it in. Amy Zhao to who else?
Jenny DeJesus. We know. I'll finish that sentence for you. So able to get through Radiance's zone pretty confidently. I mean, those three handlers, Finley, Cartagena, Douglas, I love seeing them go to work. Just seeing their gears turning. Where do we want to place this? You notice they had Joe open on the sideline. They could have gotten the disc to her sooner. But with the experience of that handler set, they knew that they wanted to push it down the middle of the field as much as possible to find that eventual hole for Joe and then to DeJesus.
I think that's the O-line telling their D-line, good luck D-line, hey, we're back on our horse, we're doing our job, we're relying on you to get the breaks for us.
Let's see some more of DeJesus. You know where she's going to be in the end zone.
Or
rotating all the way around to track down that disc.
Or 1 yard outside for the hockey assist.
Then again, a big break cut. Towing it in. Always very aware of the end zone.
Now, New York is back on defense. Radiance, O-line. Looks like a little bit more hesitant. Gina Tickham thinking about the big throw. Reels it in. Erica Birdsong with the big release. Oh, and Aki Young couldn't quite get there.
Claire Revere pulls it down. Birdsong, what a great aim. Birdsong has got a lot of skills. Just really, think of her as a very talented receiver, but with a rip like that, and that was on, the quarter of the same quarter of the field. So that is a precision throw, but knew that Revere had a height differential there, and that she would bring it down. Let's see that again. Titcomb thinks about it. I was convinced.
I was too.
But let Birdsong.
No hesitation there.
Great position for Aki, but nothing you can do when it's just so well placed like that.
It looked like she was about an inch away, though. So close. So this is the tight game that we were waiting for.
Oh, yes.
Battling it back and forth.
This is the kind of final you want, where you just can't leave the screen for too long because something might happen that you might want to be
It might feel like an entirely different game, in fact, as we were saying. So they stop the disc. Good luck, O-line. Back working their magic. Oh, releases it. It's a little low. Intercepted by Julia Zavinsky. Grace Connolly coming back for the disc. Alex Barnett, tightly covered by Tulsa Douglas.
And Gridlock needs to bring the D here because going up another break is going to be hard to come back from.
Just when they came back. Throws an around over to the far sideline. Grace Connolly centers it. Oh, looks like it was just in and out of the hands. Gridlock quickly taking advantage of the turnover. Tulsa Douglas.
Douglas to
Emily Barrett.
Getting it done. Some other players might have waited to pick up the disc, let the stack set up, but Douglas wants to punch it in and also knows that there's a time component here, right? They can't waste any time. So we're going to see the error, just a disc went down too low. Tulsa slices it to Barrett.
That's her favorite throw. It looked like it slipped just out of Neville's hand. It might be, hands are starting to get sweaty out there in this heat.
That's right.
I like that quick attack after the turnover.
And you know, I mean, Barrett and DeJesus are always heading to the end zone. So as a handler on the Gridlock O-line, you know there's always a fast break option if you want it. Barrett and DeJesus are teammates on Exist, and just full journalistic disclosure of which I'm part of the coaching team, and just that reliance that you can have on those types of instincts is so huge that you just always know, no matter how long the point is, one of them is going deep.
It's a big, long pull from Gridlock, Becky Malinowski. Now Gina Tickham with the disc. The reset give-go still working for them. Now over to this side, Erica Birdsong with the disc. She's asking for a reset. Ashley Powell secures the reset, now looking for a choice, goes back to Erica again.
Is Raleigh tired, or is Gridlock playing good defense, or both?
Perhaps a little bit of both. It looks like they are playing a little bit of a switchy, trying to make pressuring them under, but really wary of those deep. As I say, it goes up deep, secured by Claire. Erica gets it about 10 yards out the end zone. Reset to Alex Barnett to a wide open Claire Revere.
Great break. Barnett to Revere. Revere also had a big grab in the air despite pressure from Gridlock.
I feel like the Radiance offense did a really good job of taking shots only when needed, but also lots and lots of good resets to keep the defense guessing.
Yes, we see again the score from Barnett to Revere. Little kick spike, you just got to watch out for it boomeranging back. You know, you never know. You don't want to get kicked by your own spike. But yes, Radiance showing some patience there. I think there was also strong defensive pressure from Gridlock, but I was surprised, you know, Birdsong didn't huck it. I was surprised that Titcomb didn't huck, you know. They're changing it up. You know, we're seeing that they can work at a few different paces. This isn't just a young guns team that's just going to let it loose for anybody, you know, taking a foot deep. They're playing smart. And if you are tuning in, hearing our voices right now, we thank you so much, and we encourage you to donate to the Premier Ultimate League. This is a new league that is always looking to grow and bring you great ultimate of women and non-binary athletes, and we need your help to be able to do that. The cost for tickets in the stadium today is $25, so if you are willing and able to donate, there is a link underneath the YouTube channel view here. We'd be very grateful for your support so that we can continue to grow the league. It's grown to 12 teams now, and like we were saying in the intro, Sako, just so much talent across this Premier Ultimate League.
Indeed.
Fans are out despite the heat. We also know off camera there's some people on the greens, you know, making use of, you know, blankets and whatnot. But we are glad you are with us here today.
With New York chasing Raleigh 10-11. We have about 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter.
I don't think my nails are going to make it through this game. I think we're headed for a fourth quarter that's going to be a pendulum back and forth, back and forth.
Bit of a nail biter, shall we say?
Indeed.
Tight reset. Pressure. Oh, Amy Zhu can't quite secure that disc. Now Radiance with another chance. A pretty short field to go. Grace Connolly, Dawn Colton, Jamie Riedel. Looking for a reset and finds it. Fighting for that front cone. And a backhand break.
That is a break for Radiance to widen it. 2-point lead. They've been tied. They've been between ones earlier in the game. Raleigh was up by 2, maybe even 3 at one point. So looking in the third quarter to try to pull away from Gridlock.
Another little break in the rhythm. We were going par on par for a while there, but
We're seeing it here again. Patience on the red zone.
The Jenny Riedel. And then a nice around throw to Teresa Yu. Now I'm sure the rally coach is saying, let's get on this break train. Get a couple more.
And Liz, the coach we're seeing here right now, is talking about, wanting to change up the defensive looks, and we've seen that. So in the last point, there was some coaching on the handlers, some trying to disrupt the flow, and they're going to see if they can do it again.
Again, as the hands get sweaty, some of the catches are going to be trickier than usual. Finley back for the reset. Back to Gina Cartagena. Little inside over to Amy. Amy saying why.
I can't believe we didn't see Barrett or De Jesus running deep on that.
Yes. Amy saying, why are you not going deep for me? Oh, and Tulsa's throw goes a little bit above Cartagena's waiting hands, and so now Radiance with another chance at a break. Teresa Yu comes back for the reset. Grace Connolly trying to direct traffic from the near far side from us. And inside, Ginny Riedel. Oh, Grace Connolly with a nice catch to secure possession. And she takes a shot, but the Mac almost helps Don Colton, but it doesn't quite.
Ooh. Trying to thread the needle, but overthrows Finley.
I feel like Grace looking for another big shot. Now under to Teresa Yu. Teresa with the big fakes to try to shake off her mark. Grace Connolly chooses not to throw to the incoming cutter. And she calls a timeout.
A lot of back and forth on this point here. So smart move from Radiance to call the timeout, try to get things in order. But the gridlock O-line, no doubt feeling that frustration of, we gotta get it. We gotta get the ball back.
With 3 minutes left in the third quarter, I think some fatigue coming in too, perhaps, with the heat. I feel like the cuts on the O-line was getting a little sluggish there in the middle part of that point.
Let's see that
for
turn
New
again.
York.
Cartagena looking for Finley, but just a little bit too slicey for Finley to be able to track it down. So gridlock, reshuffling. We're probably going to see a different line coming in. This looks like the D squad ready to go out.
Getting some directions from the coach. And on the Radiant side also, there's been a substitution with the O set coming in. Luisa Neves going up to cover Ashley Powell. Sydney Harris on Revere. Revere making some hand gestures that she's going to go deep. But then she comes back. Oh, unfortunately, she can't quite catch the frisbee. Now the D-line. Kowalski looking for a big shot, but she's going to reset. D-line going for a quick give go. Doesn't happen. Now looking for some cuts. Kowalski with the big fakes. Sydney Harris coming in. Becky Malinowski coming in. Doesn't get it. Oh, almost intercepted, but not quite. Tracy Lim able to secure it and get it back. Now it's in Becky Malinowski's hand. Sydney Harris coming in, communicating with her teammate. Oh,
Great
just a little bit
attempt.
far for Akina.
And just great offensive flow from gridlock there. All the way in. That was the right throw.
A little bit too much mustard, as they say.
Sydney Harris to Aki Young.
Great movement from the D-line, though, for the offense. Now Radiance gets to try again. Has to work the entire field. Tight marking from Gridlock. It's under. Clairvier coming. She thinks about the big shot. Holsters it. Now another big shot coming in. Akian not quite able to D. Georgia Tse, who resets to Erica Birdsong. Erica looks for her reset. Succeeds. Alex Barnett looking for a short one there. Give go. Good defense, give go, and a little 7 cut on the give go.
That is a break for Radiance. A long point, so it might have been hard to remember who initially possessed, but despite getting that turn, Gridlock wasn't able to keep the possession. Raleigh with their eye on the prize, another big huck. They've just completed so many tough hucks there.
Nice catch from Georgia. Alex Barnett active all over the field.
Let's see that huck again. So in the air, Say has to find the spot, even with Aki right there, able to bring it down, able to dink it in to Barnett, despite the heads-up defense. I mean, both defenders looking right at her, but just Barnett is such a quick step there.
Well, that
even
short,
in a small space.
that shortcut on the break side in the end zone is so hard to cover because, of course, Kowalski's trying to cover the down the line slice cut, and if she makes a quick stop to the opposite side and the thrower's allowed to throw that, then it's almost impossible to cover that.
Big smiles from Radiance, feeling pretty good with their 13-10 lead. They're back on defense, looking for another break.
A minute left. Big pull from Grace Connolly. New York has to work the entire field down. Resets to Finley. Jenny De Jesus. Big throw. Holsters it. Looks like there might have been a pick call. Centers it to Jenny De Jesus. All the way across the field over to Gina. To Tulsa.
Oof. Under pressure, great catch from Cartagena.
Tight reset to Gina. Emily Barrett on the far side. Resets it. Gina thinking about a tight throw, doesn't do it. Oh, and the throw to Jenny De Jesus.
Looks like there's a call from De Jesus. They're deciding if they're going to go to the observer or not.
The observers are conferring.
Okay, they're calling no foul, that was a clean D. There may have been contact, but if the contact is after the disc has been touched, it is not a foul. Looks like there might be a timeout call here. Not sure by which team. Oh, no, it is the end of the third. That was the last possession, so when the buzzer goes, it's whoever team has the disc. They had only that chance, so Gridlock wasn't able to score. And we are done with the third quarter, 1 quarter to go. Raleigh is up by 3 points. Asako, do you think there's a path for Gridlock to come back?
Oh, there's definitely a path for Gridlock to still come back, but Raleigh very happy about extending their lead here. Let's see about the game stats that have led us to here. Score is 10-13. Holds, same number of holds. Clean holds, 1 up for Raleigh. Turnovers, New York is much higher. That's an interesting statistic. 6 more turnovers. And then break chances, 6-20. So what do you see from this, Judy?
Looks like Gridlock still has a chance if they're able to be clean, have no turnovers on their O. And we'll see what they can bring in the fourth quarter. We'll be back after a break.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com.
And if you're enjoying the game here today, we encourage you to donate to the Premier Ultimate League so we can continue bringing great broadcasts like this for free. There's a link down there. We're suggesting $25 donation, the cost of a ticket here in Carlini Stadium in Washington, D.C., but any amount is appreciated as we highlight the best of women and non-binary ultimate coming into the fourth quarter of the finals between New York Gridlock and Raleigh Radiance. Raleigh's looking pretty confident. They've really gotten their feet under them, just playing really hard and looking for the huck whenever they can possibly find it.
Also coming in here on offense, which is an extra bonus.
The Gridlock D-line has been shining.
Sam Harris with the pull. Let's see if Gridlock can make some magic happen here.
It might be Tangerlini time,
It might be.
Stasi Tangerlini with bright green cleats close to us on the close side
She had
of the field.
some clutch Ds yesterday. Brigadier Curtis looking for a reset, finds Ashley Powell, who has just been rock solid as the reset. Always available, always providing a relief point. And they shoot. Two defenders there.
How do they get it?
But Brigadier Curtis secures it. And a nice around backhand by Gina Titcomb to a streaking Georgitze.
Great grab, but really it was that save in the air before the huck that was so crucial, and that's what we've seen from Radiance again and again in this game, is just the ability to read the disc so well under pressure, catching an imprecise throw just about every time.
There were two defenders there again.
So here's that crucial catch by
Zoe Hecht and Sam Harris, also very good defenders, and Gina Titcomb with a nice around break backhand.
And just the great pacing. So whenever they have the chance for the deep space, Radiance is really pushing the pace and speeding the disc along, not hesitating, not waiting for the stack to get set up.
So Radiance now able to extend their lead to 4 points. Just the start of the fourth quarter. If Gridlock is going to have a comeback, it has to start now.
Right now. And so this is the time where they need that 3-pass, possession, because partly it's a clock issue now. We know they have the goods in terms of skill to have a comeback, but with 11 minutes on the clock, this offense has to be efficient.
That's correct. Amy Zhao, upline, Jenny De Jesus. What a catch. Securing it to the middle, calm, offense. Nina Finley able to secure it.
That's what they needed to do. And Jenny De Jesus, what a clutch catch on the sideline, and then the team able to swing it over the side. Finley busting for a great huck from Amy Jo.
Able to bring it all the way over to the other side again, using the whole width of the field.
Let's see that. A lot of small passes. Rip from Joe. Finley is deep enough that she can come back under the disc and get it. And gotta love that about all the gridlock O handlers. You will see them in the end zone. They will bust. When they see that there's too much crowding, you'll see Douglas score, you'll see Cartagena score, you'll see Finley score. That's part of what makes them so dynamic as that O-line handler group. So O said, we did our job. Now D-line, we need you, we need you.
That's right, that's right. It's starting to be that now and never time for gridlock.
Wondering if they were going to bring Mascara back out on the field, but I know that, her knee's not all the way healed, and so the coaches and Mascara trying to make good decisions about, she's such a talented player, and, her future is also really important. So we don't see her on the line here.
It lands in but rolls out, I think. So the observer places a little beanbag to the place where the disc should come in.
Well, that's so cute. I didn't know they used beanbags.
Well, I'm not really sure if it's a beanbag. It's a beanbag looking thing. Oh, I think they decided it landed out, and now they are going to bring it to the middle. Ashley Powell saying, come back to the brick mark. Ashley Powell starts the move. Errant throw, can she secure it? Yes.
I wasn't breathing during that disc in the air because every throw right now could make the difference.
I think Claire Review needs to take an injury timeout. I think she's saying she might have hit her head. Yes. Oh, she hit her head coming down.
Ouch, hard landing. Really talented player. Revere takes one, Titcomb comes in, but Revere was able to bring it down.
Amazing tenacity on that catch. Gina Titcomb with a disc looking for reset. Finding a far reset in Ashley Powell. Bringing it over to Georgia. Coming in, working it down the line. Erica Birdsong quickly releases it into the hands of Brigadier Curtis.
Curtis has been clutch in this quarter. A lot of big catches. And Radiance has been so effective with their upline cuts and throws. Let's see it again. And Birdsong to Gina Titcomb, Gary Curtis for the score. Fanning
Quick
herself
releases there. Quick releases there. I think at this point in the game, even when it's a hold, it feels like a break because you can't make up the difference.
That's right. Every pass matters now in these last minutes. Whether it's going to be Raleigh closing the door, not letting Gridlock to sneak back in, or whether Gridlock can put enough pressure on. So again, their O-line is back out there, and you know they're looking to do as an efficient a possession as possible to get their D-line back on the field.
9.5 minutes left in the quarter. Nina Finley centers it to Tulsa Douglas. Gina secures the disc over to Emily Barrett. Resets it. Switching fields. Nina Finley with the big fakes. Oh, I think that might have been to Gina, but Tulsa says, I'll pick it up since I can. Emily Barrett into the middle. Looking for another reset. Finds Finley. Jenny De Jesus looking for another. Jenny, that's what Jenny does too. She comes all the way back to help her teammates. Finds Tulsa on the far side. Releases it. Finley. Very cautious, very patient.
Go score, Nina.
Making sure. Oh, the throw goes a little bit over the hands of Emily Barrett. It was the right idea, but
patient offense was really incredible
Bella Russell picks it up for Radiance. You know, she just finished high school.
Ooh.
Yes, local.
Future of Ultimate right here.
Local North Carolina talent. Oh, it looks
Douglas
like there was a
says we're keeping it down here.
point block. Oh, and Emily Barrett secures it for New York. And
Barrett leaves no doubt. We will score this offensive possession. So incredible D by Tulsa Douglas to make sure Gridlock could keep it not even in their possession, but their third of the field for just a couple quick throws into the end zone. Let's see that beautiful foot block. Douglas knows that there's an attempted swing. Cartagena.
oh, there's good defensive pressure from Radiance, but Emily Barrett says this disc is mine.
And Joe was making sure if it was going to pop up behind Barrett, Amy Joe was there. All right, so Radiance is looking to do their own smooth offense. Taking it to 16-11 would start to shut the door on Gridlock.
Yes.
In contrast,
8 minutes left.
If Gridlock can make this 12-15 with a break, this game is not over.
That's right. I'm sure that's what's going through the Gridlock D-line's minds right now. Ashley Powell picks up the disc, as she has this weekend.
We're seeing a zone look
A
from
different
Gridlock.
zone look. Different zone look. Zoe can't quite get to it. Gets to Erica Birdsong, who releases it. Observer rules not in yet. So she will reset. It's a good reset. Upline. Well defended. So they go all the way across the field. Georgia with a disc, being very patient. Claire Bigaderi Curtis to Erica Birdsong with a tightly contesting Becky Malinowski.
Bigaderi Curtis to Birdsong. That puts a much bigger gulf between the teams here now. Birdsong's been having an incredible game. Goal, assist, blocks, she can do it all. Huck, receive, whatever she wants. But what's been true in this game for Radiance, same as the semifinal, is they've really spread the stats out across the team. Let's see this pass again.
It was a tight throw, but Birdsong says no problem. I will catch this. A USA U20 member, and this summer she's going to England to play in the U24 for Team America. She's grown so much in the last year as a player. It's really a joy to see her play so well.
There's so much talent on the field down here.
There's a lot of young talent on this Radiance team. A lot of UNC three-peat college nationals winners, UNC players, just showing their stuff that they can play just as well at the PUL level as they do at college nationals.
They're
It's
Energizer
incredible.
bunnies. I mean, that just happened. Nationals just happened. To be able to have this type of athleticism and to really not look tired in a very hot field, a very contested game. Just a lot of kudos to the Radiance players.
Yep. And also, as I said, Bella Russell just finished high school. She's going to UNC next year, making that team even stronger.
Wow.
Resets to Finley. Oh, but the toss to Tulsa Douglas goes a little bit astray, and now Radiance gets another chance. At the Grace Connolly with the disc, centers it. Oh, the centering pass goes a little bit behind. And now Radiance gets to try to D, but Amy Zhao able to throw it into the hands of Finley.
Another score from Nina Finley, getting in the right place at the right time. And that Radiance defender was very close to the path of the
Yes.
disc. I mean, if there had been a layout, that might have been a block. But Joe able to whistle the disc in.
Okay, important point for New York Gridlock if they're going to attempt a comeback, which has to start right now.
And you see the speed. As soon as they get the turnover, just the closest person picks it up because they know we can't wait for the handlers to set up. We need to put points on the board as fast as possible.
Clock expires. The game will be over.
All right, we're in the last minutes of the Premier Ultimate League final game. Never say never.
Never
Anything
say never.
can happen, despite the gap that Radiance has pushed forward on over Gridlock. We still have time on the clock. 16-13 with close to 6 minutes to go.
It's not impossible yet.
Both teams can, be out here with a big measure of pride to be in this game. So regardless of the eventual winner, people weren't betting on these teams. They were saying DC's been at the top of the whole pile. Minnesota was undefeated. And to have these two teams come in and have just absolutely incredible semifinals. DC and Minnesota were not messing up. These two teams were playing out of their minds. So we're going to have a champion today, crown a champion that has never been a champion before.
Indeed, and they're showing how much work they put in by playing this amazing finals. New York really eager to get, a point block by Amy Zhao.
Amy brings it. Amy is one of those pressure players. As the pressure increases, Amy's skill increases and increases.
Mosquera is out there. Amy Zhao again, open under. Nola opts not to throw it. Lisa Kowalski with the disc. Luisa Neves going up line. Angela Zhu centers it to Kowalski. It's a little bit of crowding around the disc. Luisa Neves goes in to save. Chooses not to go. Luisa Kowalski coming in. Nola coming in.
Despite great defense in the red zone by Radiance, that is a break from Gridlock, moving the disc up the sideline, centering it, and then getting it in. Kim Meyer is clutch.
Great.
Let's see that blocking
Great patience on the offense.
So Joe gets 2.5 fingers on that disc, allowing her team to get it. Neves thinks about hitting Mosquera, patiently touches it in to
moving her
Kim
mark
Meyer.
with those big fakes.
And something a little special trivia. Luisa Neves was the college coach for Nola Kim Meyer, so we just had a coach to player assist. They've been teammates on Gridlock, they're teammates on Exist. Just love the kind of interconnectedness of our community, that you can have the people that you've taught are now your teammates and they're on the board with you. It's really special.
That's wonderful.
Kim Meyer is one of those understated players that you're tempted, maybe I don't have to work as hard, or I'm going to be able to get open on her easily. She has had so many incredible grabs in championship weekend. She is a player to keep watching. 2-point game.
A little bobble, but able to secure it. As we were talking about the youth of this Radiance team, I see 4 UNC players on this line right here. The future is very bright for North Carolina Ultimate. Working it patiently across. You know, back in my day, young ultimate meant impatient ultimate, but it doesn't anymore. These young players are so methodical and well coached. It's very impressive to see. Oh, just as I say that, commentator's curse strikes again.
The chance to turn the tables.
Teresa Yu's throw goes a little bit beyond Ashley Powell's hands. Angela Zhu now with the disc. New York looking to get another break with 3.5 minutes left.
Timeout called by Gridlock.
This is where the time management becomes really interesting and part of the strategy.
Absolutely, and we didn't have headsets on. I think we'd be pacing back and forth out here because Gridlock's just made this possible. With that incompletion by Radiance, they're just a third of a field away from a break here and a third of a field away from a 1-point game. What are you saying to the Radiant squad right now in the huddle? Asako, if you're the coach.
I think just maintain our high energy, as the coach was saying during that halftime interview. I think they just need to keep up their positive energy, knowing that they can get the disc back and score again.
And for Gridlock, it's this combination of, like you're saying, it's timing, but it's also discipline. That if you rush, that's the trouble. It's how do you have urgency without rushing? And I think that's such an important ultimate skill. You know, both of us are coaches, right? That's something you talk about so much, is especially in the red zone, which is where they're approaching. How do you make sure that you are pushing the pace and you're not doing too many resets with this time left? But if you rush, that disc is not coming back to you.
As we go into the fourth quarter, there's a little bit of a different rules at the PUL for time management. There'll be more stoppages. Working Jenny to Tulsa Douglas, to Gina. Very patient. Finley trying to get open there. Tulsa goes all the way back. Gina to a waiting Jenny De Jesus.
Oh my, the fans are fired up in the stadium because we have a 1-point game in the fourth quarter. Gridlock, despite excellent defense from Radiance, able to get it in. Cartagena to De Jesus. That's the chorus. That's just what we say about every 5 minutes. Cartagena to De Jesus.
With 3 minutes left.
Let's see that again. Cartagena gets it to Douglas, up the line to Cartagena. She's right on the end zone line.
Such good timing, shooting in.
De Jesus is coming.
Things are heating
big.
up.
This is big, yes. Let's bring the fans out here. De Jesus, what a game. 4 goals and an assist. Really powers the team in so many ways.
And so much more influence than these statistics express, I think, her role. She's always out there saving her teammates who might not find an outlet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter only, the clock will stop after a goal and restart when a pull is caught, touched by an inbound offensive player, or tapped into play. There's more stops in the final 2 quarters, so time management becomes a little bit more crucial. Ashley Powell with the disc, looking for reset, finds Alex Barnett, as she has done so many times this weekend. Erica Birdsong coming in, really good at going to the disc. Oh, Alex, able to keep that inbounds, very tight. Luisa Neves trying to disturb her as much as possible. 2 tall players covering each other there with Becky and Claire. A streaking incoming Titcom is able to release it just outside the end zone. Brigadier Curtis looking for an outlet. Finds Barnett, who is able to give right back. They are so good at these reset give-goes.
What a great second half Brigadier Curtis has been having. Just can go and go and go. And I mean, Becky Malinowski is no slouch. So you have her on, Becky had a good attack on an in-cut of Brigadier Curtis in that same point. But the separation that number 2 was able to have, let's see that throw again.
As you were saying, Gina Tickham is so dangerous on both sides of the disc, and she's able to open that offense up with that. It's not a long throw, but just long enough to make a big difference.
And that was a give and go from Barnett to Brigadier Curtis for the score. Radiance is not done yet. They've made it a 2-point game. Again, they are not going quietly, and neither is Gridlock. So we're going to see some duking out for these next few points.
That was
Barnett,
a crucial point
look
for
at
Radiance.
That sheet, 7 involved in 7 of the goals, and a block there. So Barnett, a lot to show for in this game.
So we're going into those last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, like we were talking about before, where the time stops on every call out of bound turnover. In these instances, the clock will be restarted when the disc is put in play. So much more tighter time management in the last 2 minutes of this game. And we just entered those 2 minutes. Gina Cartagena with the disc. Raleigh Radiance with a zone look. I think it is in their interest to tactically to make this point as long as possible to disallow a comeback from a very energetic New York team. Gina looking to open it up, seeing what her choices are. Tulsa Douglas with the disc.
Big save.
Oh, big save by Gina. Inside. Oh, unexpected, but good breakthrow.
Gotten through the zone now. Oh, but they're still in the zone.
They're still in the zone. They're in the zone all the way. A little floaty to Tulsa Douglas in space. New York really trying to make sure they score this point. All the way across.
This is very interesting. They stay in the zone all the way on the end zone. It's proving effective for Radiance.
Mm-hmm.
And they're being conservative with their throws. You know, in another version of Gridlock, they would just be throwing to the back corner, slicing it in.
Amy was almost in. She didn't jump in. Oh, but now Emily Barrett is in.
Amy Jo to Emily Barrett. Make it a 1-point game with 30 seconds to go in the fourth. And this is the time that you don't want to refill your water.
No.
You don't want to tie your shoe. You need to be watching the field for what's going to happen in these last seconds.
As a reminder, for the fourth quarter, the rule is different, and it is a buzzer beater ending. So once the clock hits 0-0, the game is over after that last disc is, the destination of the last disc is determined. So
replay here.
You don't get to keep your possession. You have to end that throw. So this is the pressure. The pressure is on Gridlock to get it within, get the score within 30 seconds in order to drive the game into overtime.
Right, so you have kind of the opposite pace goals here, that Radiance is going to try to throw as many throws as they can because they don't necessarily need to win. You know, they don't need an 18-16 to win. They just need to possess it for 31 seconds. Gridlock has got to accelerate their defense. This defense needs to get a turn faster than they ever have in their lives to stay in the game. And they met, you know, they've had overtime games before. These two, two out of their 3 meetings have gone to overtime. So will we see it here?
Revere in cut. It's good to see her back on the field playing. Ashley Powell taking their time. 20 seconds left with a give-go. Driving up the field. Erica Birdsong not going to take that shot now, but a good throw down the line. Caitlin Gross literally on the line to the waiting hands of Georgia with 1 second left.
So that is essentially the game. There's still a second on the clock, but with that 2-point difference, Raleigh Radiance looks like they're going to be the champion.
That might have been on 9, but it found its target.
Georgia
Caitlin Gross with a good bladey throw to the back of the end zone.
Raleigh Radiance, just an incredible game, incredible performance, so consistent, but also so bold. They really have this duality about them that, we don't want to entirely attribute to youth because let's, respect the people in their 30s still doing bold things. But truly, just such an impressive performance. It's the same way they played DC Shadow in some ways of just holding them back, having a little bit of a lead the whole game. But Gridlock is going to leave nothing on the table. So they are going to play every second. I'm sure we're going to see a big boost as soon as the disc is in because that's the only thing left with 1 second on the clock here.
That's right. What an exciting game it's been. Grace Connolly for the pull. It's a good deep pull.
And that is the game.
Buzzer.
Raleigh Radiance are your premier Ultimate League champions for 2023. Big congratulations to Raleigh on an incredible game. Asaka, what really stood out to you in this victory?
Well, also big congratulations to New York. I think they played a great game with a lot of heart. I also want to thank all the fans who joined us this weekend, and congratulations to all the teams that fought in the PUL. As a youth coach and as a mother of female matching player, I can attest that these young players are watching and being inspired. Also, representing the older generation, I want to say that for those of us who didn't have this opportunity, it's an inspiration to watch everybody in this league play well. And I want everyone to keep working hard and see you at the next championship weekend.
Yes, the Premier Ultimate League is so crucial for the ecosystem of Ultimate to be able to showcase people who, some of them are already teammates, some of them play against each other, they play in mixed, they play in women's division. So to have all of these all-star athletes out, to have 12 teams that compete in this league, growing each year. Philadelphia was a new team this year, just a fantastic season. So I agree, just big congrats to all the PUL teams. And our hats are off to you, Raleigh Radiance. Great game, great work. All right, as we see Raleigh celebrate, we also want to show some big highlights of the game.
We have a disc graph play of a game coming up. It's this foot block by Tulsa Douglas.
Let's see it again, zoomed in, slow-mo. Get that foot up and that disc stays down. What a great play by Douglas. That was also a crucial moment where Gridlock got the disc back and were able to score. So well-deserved play of the game to Tulsa Douglas in this championship match.
This was a very worthy final for this championship weekend. This is how the weekend panned out. New York beating Minnesota 2013, Raleigh beating DC 18-16, and then now 18-16 again for the finals goes to Raleigh Radiance. It was a great game for the fans to watch.
Yes, we hear them whooping it up out there. So Raleigh getting to do their victory lap. A really well-played game, a really well-earned win, and it just makes me really fired up for next season. To know the depth in this league and how many teams can bring it, we're just going up from here.
So Alex Barnett, Teresa Yu, Dawn Colton, Grace Connolly, Erica Birdsong, all coming off of a three-peat at College National Championship, now to have a PUL Championship under their belt also.
This is a very talented crew, and also the chemistry that they're building. You could really see the amount of time that they've played together, the choices that they made. So there were moments where, they were boosting a lot of discs, but they also had really disciplined movement down the field. So being able to move back and forth It's about the relationships that they have in each other. It's about the depth of skill that these players have. So I don't know. Are we seeing the beginning of a dynasty here?
I don't know. All I know is I know that the reset system of Rally was the most effective of all 4 teams. And now I think we have some sideline interviews coming up with Laura Osterland again with Radiance captains.
All right, I'm here post-game with the captains of Radiance, Ginny and Alex. Good game. How's it feel to be the new PUL champs?
Feels pretty great. Yeah, it's really good. We're really excited and proud of what this team has accomplished this season, for sure.
It was a really, really cool season arc. We really I think that we a lot of us hadn't played together before, so it was really cool to gain that chemistry and just peak at the right time. That was really cool.
Exactly.
So what do you think helped lead you to your success?
I think a culture of positivity that was really trickled down from our leadership. I think the 3 coaches that we brought in this year, Bridget Johnson, Claire Pierce, and Liz Leon, were just anchors for us in terms of leading energy, strategy. A bunch of players that have never had this opportunity to play before. I think just the excitement throughout the team and across the season really helped us build for this moment.
I would agree. We were just nice to each other. It created this atmosphere where we can make mistakes and grow, so that by the time it's championship weekend, we know what's in our box and we can just execute, and that was really cool.
So, which players really stepped out in this game?
This question's the worst. Everyone on our team, we could not have done this without every single person on the roster. I think that we wouldn't have been here without a ridiculous performance from Erica Birdsong yesterday. I think that Georgia Say really stepped up throughout the course of the season. We put her in a hard spot on O-line, and she really stepped up and took care of business. It was awesome.
The connection between Georgia and Caitlin Gross specifically, I think, was just amazing. The chemistry they have as roommates and the chemistry they have in the offensive line, really held that team together, or that line together. It was pretty amazing to see them step up and do that.
Absolutely. And behind the scenes, Grace Connerly is a huge leader and always knows. She knows every player on every roster, and we could not have made the strategy decisions we did without her.
All right, and there you have it. Again, Raleigh Radiance are victorious. Good game. All right, back to you in the booth.
Captains giving credit to the whole team. And that's what it takes, and that's been Raleigh's strategy throughout the season. Is they're not trying to have one player, involved in 10 goals. They are a really broad team.
Yep, and what Alex Barnett was talking about, I think really connects to the positive energy that they were able to maintain, even with Gridlock pushing hard, coming back. They were able to maintain that high energy, stay positive, and just keep scoring, making these ridiculous catches everywhere. Although Nola was there for that one.
A lot of skill on both the teams in the air. Seeing some highlights.
So I want to thank you, Judy, for coming to help with the commentating with this game. Your knowledge of the game was wonderful, amazing to see. So exciting to see the PUL grow. And my name is Asako Yamamoto, here with Judy Jarvis. Thank you for joining us, and see you at the next championship.